I believe that many in the Lord's recovery will be brought into this kind of intercession. When God came down to visit Abraham on a human level, he was seeking one intercessor. Today, God has come down to the human level once again, not to seek an individual but the corporate people. I believe that in not too long a time, there will be a people on earth absolutely like Abraham, knowing the heart of God and making a challenging intercession in His presence. We may say to God, Lord, don't you know that you have promised us definitely in the New Testament to finish the good work that you have begun? Abraham did not cry and plead with God to spare Sodom for Lot's sake. He challenged him. Likewise, we should not weep and beg, but should challenge God. He does not want to hear our crying. He wants to hear our challenging intercession, expressing God's desire. Abraham's intercession echoed the desire of God's heart concerning Lot. As he was interceding according to God's heart, his intercession spontaneously expressed God's desire. Proper intercession always expresses God's desire. This is another principle of intercession. If our intercession is initiated by our seeing of God's revelation in our intimate fellowship with Him, whatever we say to Him in our intercession will be the expression of His desire, the echo of His intention. True intercession is not to express our desire, but God's desire. It is not to seek anything according to our intention, but to seek the fulfillment of God's intention. Carrying out God's will. Intercession must also carry out God's will. Although God had a will to rescue Lot, without Abraham's intercession, God had no way to carry out his will. Proper intercession always paves the way for the accomplishing of God's will. It lays the tracks for the heavenly locomotive. God desired to rescue Lot from Sodom, but he had to find a way to do this. Thus he visited Abraham for the purpose that he might intercede on Lot's behalf. Abraham was intimately close to God's heart, and God was able to open his heart to him. Immediately, Abraham echoed back to God his heart's desire in a challenging intercession. This intercession was the expression of God's desire and the carrying out of His will. There is the urgent need of this kind of challenging intercession in the church life today. All the messages that the Lord has been given in us are for the carrying out of His will. In this life study, we do not care for mere Bible teaching. We are concerned for the release of the present word of the Lord for His recovery. After reading this message, a strong echo will resound throughout the Lord's recovery as many of the dear saints respond to His word and are brought into a full realization of genuine intercession. From now on, many of us will exercise our spirit to intercede for the church by challenging God according to His heart's desire. We know that His heart's desire is to save His people out of the wicked city, to rescue today's Lot from the condition of condemnation. If we are so close to God, fellowshipping with Him in an intimate way, we shall be able to read His heart and echo His heart's desire back to Him in a glorious intercession. In the next message, we shall see that Abraham's intercession was very effective. In chapter 19, verse 27 to 29, we see that Abraham was still with God's heart. Abraham woke up early in the morning and looked at the city, being very concerned for Lot. In chapter 19, verse 29, we are told clearly that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, where he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. This effective intercession will more and more be realized and practiced among us in the church life. Until the Lord has finished His speaking, this chapter does not end with Abraham speaking. It ends with God speaking. Verse 33 says, "And the Lord went his way as soon as he had finished speaking to Abraham." The record here is the record of Abraham's intercession, but it does not say that Abraham had finished his speaking. It says that the Lord had finished his speaking. Proper intercession is always God speaking. Apparently, we are speaking. Actually, God is speaking in our speaking. I like the verse which says that the Lord went his way as soon as he had finished speaking to Abraham. Many times in our prayers, we say Amen after we have finished speaking. Our Amen means the same as goodbye. I can testify that hundreds of times I have said goodbye to the Lord in this way before he has finished speaking to me. I prayed for a certain length of time and then said Amen, meaning goodbye. But deep in my spirit, I sensed that God was saying, "What are you doing? I haven't finished talking to you. Why don't you stay for another few minutes?" Many of us have had this kind of experience. Our amen, our goodbye was too fast. We need to stay in the presence of God until He has finished speaking to us. Our intercession must utter what God is speaking. Life Study of Genesis, Message 52. Living in Fellowship with God, a Defeated Righteous Man. The Bible is a marvelous book. Alongside of the record of Abraham, it gives us the negative history of Lot. For quite a long time, I did not understand why the Bible included such a negative record. There are certain verses in Genesis 19 that, humanly speaking, I do not like to talk about, but the Lord's divine revelation is economical. Not one word is wasted. Hence, every word in the Holy Bible is very important. What that is the purpose of chapter 19 of Genesis, is to give us a warning example. I have the strong burden that in this message, so many of us, especially the young people, need to see this warning example. We need such an example because today's situation is no better than that of Sodom.